Hi and a very good evening everyone. Today, my group and I would like to present to you about the Tenaga Nasional Berhad as a monopoly company in Malaysia. Before we going further into the details of the company in relation to monopoly, it's best for us to get to know a little bit about the company. The company that we chose for our case study is Tenaga Nasional Berhad, which also mostly known as TNB as the short form. This largest utility company in Malaysia was originally founded as the Central Electricity Board on 1949. Today, the company has exceeded yearly revenue as much as 58.67 billion ringgit and yearly profit of 9.11 billion ringgit. TNB provides a wide range of products and services related to electricity generation, transmission, and distribution to diverse range of customer, individually or corporate client, including residential household, commercial and industrial sector, as well as government agencies. Next, for this slide, let's study the market demand of this company as monopoly company in Malaysia. TNB has a relatively inelastic market demand for their electricity. This means that consumers have very limited alternatives or substitutes of the product. As electricity is a necessity, the consumer do not have much choice but to purchase it from TNB. This lack of competition allows the TNB to have control over the pricing and reduce the responsiveness demand to changes in price. The graph shown here reflects the monopoly characteristics of the company of TNB. As a monopoly company, Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB has the ability to control the market demand for electricity in Malaysia. The market demand curve for TNB as a monopoly will typically exhibit a downward sloping shape, reflecting the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. There are four interpretations that we can obtain from this monopoly graph. Firstly is the price setting of the electricity. As the sole provider of electricity in the market, TNB has the power to set the price for its services. Since there are no direct competitors, TNB can charge a price that maximizes its profit. The price set by TNB is represented on the vertical axis of the graph. Next is the quantity demanded. The quantity of electricity demanded by the consumer is represented on the horizontal axis of the graph. The downward slope of the demand curve indicates that the price of electricity increases, the quantity demanded by the consumer decreases, and also vice versa. Next, the elasticity of demand play a crucial role in shaping the demand curve. In a monopoly market, the demand for electricity is likely to be inelastic in the short run, meaning that changes in the price have a relatively small impact on the quantity demanded. This is because electricity is considered as necessity, and consumers have limited alternative in the short term. As a result, the demand curve is relatively steep, indicating a less responsiveness demand to changes in price. In terms of revenue maximization, TNB aims to maximize its revenue and profit as a monopoly. To achieve this, TNB will typically set the price and quantity combination where marginal revenue MR equals to marginal cost or MC. The point of profit maximization is where the MR curve intersects with the MC curve, which is usually the left of the demand curve midpoint.
So as cost structure for TNB, TNB operates with high fixed costs and low marginal costs. Fixed costs are expenses that do not vary with the level of production or output. In the case of TNB, the fixed costs are primarily associated with the establishment and maintenance of the electricity generation, transmission, and distribution infrastructure. This includes the construction of power plants, transmission lines, substation, and other necessary infrastructures. This initial investment in infrastructure are substantial and require significant capital expenditure. So that's all about the fixed cost of TNB. As for marginal cost, it is the cost of producing and delivering electricity to customers. Marginal costs are the costs incurred in producing each additional unit of output. in the context of TNB, this means that after the infrastructure is set up, the cost of generating and delivering additional units of electricity becomes relatively inexpensive. So the low marginal cost of producing electricity is mainly due to the economic of scales that TNB can achieve. TNB, as you know, serve large customer base, and this large scale production of distribution of electricity allow for their cost savings. So as TNB expand its operations and produces more electricity, it can take advantage of economic of scale where the cost per unit decreases as production volume increases. This cost advantage further strengthens TNB's monopoly positions as it becomes difficult for potential competitors to enter the market and replicate the scale and cost efficiency of TNB's operations. For example, of TNB marginal cost is of like fuel costs. If TNB operates like for example thermal power plants that use coal, natural gas, oil as fuel, the marginal cost will involve the purchase and the consumption of additional fuel to generate the extra electricity. Other than that is transmission and distribution cost, to which is to deliver the additional electricity to customers. TNB may need to increase the usage of transmission lines, substations, and other infrastructure. The marginal cost would involve the expenses associated with using and maintaining these additional infrastructures. Okay, so for differentiation and competitions. In a competitive market, as we know, companies often strive to differentiate their products or services to attract customers. However, TNB does not face direct competition in providing electricity transmission or distribution and retail services in Malaysia, because as you know, it holds exclusive licenses granted by the governments, establishing its monopoly positions. So consequently, there is no significant need for TNB to differentiate its offerings, as consumers have no choice but to obtain their electricity services from TNB. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azrul Hilmi bin Faizal. I will be presenting the next topic, which regarding the pricing strategy, together with my friends Hazim. So, without further ado, let's delve into the fascinating world of pricing strategy. Let's begin with an overview of the three types of price discrimination. Price discrimination refers to the practice of charging different prices to different customers or customer groups for the same product or service. The objective of price discrimination is to maximize revenue or profits by extracting more value from different segments of customers. There are three types of price discrimination. The first one is the first degree price discrimination. It occurs when a company charges each customer the maximum price they are willing to pay for a product or service. In this case, prices are personalized and tailored to individual customers based on their willingness to pay. And then the next one is second degree price discrimination. This discrimination involves charging different prices based on the quantity or volume of goods or services purchased. Companies employing this strategy offer discounts or lower prices for larger quantities, encouraging customers to buy more. The common examples include volume discount, quantity-based pricing, or bulk purchasing discounts. And then the last one is the third degree price discrimination. It occurs when a company charges different prices to different customer segments based on characteristics such as age, location, income level, or other demographic factors. The example of this type of discrimination includes student discounts, senior citizen rates, or different prices for different geographic regions. Now, let's move on how one company, which is TNB, applies price discrimination in their operation. TNB, which stands for Tenaga Nasional Berhad, practices second-degree price discrimination in the electricity industry. They charge different prices for different quantities of electricity consumed. TNB's pricing strategy aims to assist the poor who consume less electricity monthly. By offering lower prices to customers with lower consumption levels, TNB promotes equity in access to essential service. This approach will help make electricity more affordable for those who need it the most. TNB practice second-degree price discrimination that charges a certain price for the first given amount of usage and a different price for next given amount of usage. The tariff can be shown in the table below. As you can see, for the first 200 kilowatt of usage, the price is 21.8 cents. Whereas for the next usage within the range of 201 to 300 kilowatt per hour, the price is 33.4 cents. This will increase until the maximum charge, which is 57.10 cents per kilowatt per hour. So next, I will pass to the next presenter, which is Hazim.
So for the next slide of pricing strategy, I will talk about the cost plus pricing. So cost plus pricing is actually one of the pricing strategy that involve calculating the total cost of a product or services. It is including fixed and variable cost, and then adding up a markup percentage to determine the selling price. The markup percentage itself usually reflects the company's desired profit margin, but then the strategy can be inefficient and lead to a lack of focus on customer value, as it does not take into account the customer's willingness to pay. Also, at the same time, the cost plus pricing can be considered an easier method that been used by a large number of firms, including TNB, who is the monopoly firm, in order to determine the price rather than equating marginal revenue to marginal cost. For the next one, as we know that TNB is the monopoly firm and the primary electricity provider in Malaysia, where they provide electricity transmissions, distribution, and supply. They have the exclusive control over the generations, giving it significant market power and limited competition. So, TNB's pricing strategy, we could say that it involves a cost plus approach, where the company adds a markup to its cost to determine the price of electricity. Basically, the pricing of electricity is regulated by the Malaysian government or Energy Commission, which is they set the tariff rate for different customer categories. However, TNB has some flexibility in setting its prices within the government's guidelines. So, moreover, TNB offers different pricing schemes to different customer segments. For example, there are different tariff categories based on consumer business activity, supply voltage level, and the last one is usage profile. So based on the table that's shown in the slide, it is one of the tariff categories under the supply voltage, where it have three levels. There is a low, medium, and the high in order to calculate the pricing. TNB also offers special tariff rates for low-income households and a time of use pricing scheme for commercial customers.
Part is in recommendation. We have three. The first one is introduce price control. The government could introduce the price control on electricity, which would limit the amount that TNB can change for the product. This will help to protect the consumer from the rising cost of electricity. The second one is increase the competition in the electricity market. The government could allow more companies to enter the electricity market, which would create the competition from TNB. This would help to drive down the price of electricity. The last one is provide the more subsidy to low-income households. The government could provide more subsidy to low-income households to help them offset the rising cost of electricity, would help to ensure that everyone has access to affordable. The conclusion is TNB is a monopoly in the electricity market, which means that I is the sole supplier of electricity in Malaysia. This gives TNB a great deal of the power over the price of electricity in the recent years. The price of electricity in Malaysia has been increased. This has been due to the number of factors, including the rising cost of fuel, the increased demand for the electricity, and the government tariff policy. The critical point is about the price of TNB. TNB is monopoly in the electricity market, which gives it a great deal of power over the price of electricity. The second one is the price of electricity in Malaysia has been increased in recent years with the number of factors. The third is the rising the price of electricity has had a number of negative consequences for consumer. The last one is the government has taken some steps to address the rising the price of electricity, but more needs to be done. Thank you.